Good morning, stamping friends. It's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and as always, I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. This is such an exciting week, one of my favorite weeks of the entire Stampin' Up! Year. It is the week that the new annual catalog is released. It just happened this week. You can now purchase all of the new items from the brand new catalog. If you need a catalog and you don't already have a demonstrator of your own, then you can just message me and I'll be happy to send you one. For those of you who are current customers of mine, if you've placed in an order in the past 6 months or so, then you should be getting one in the mail. And you probably already have it, but there still could be some out there that have not quite hit the mailboxes yet. So this week I wanted to share with you the cards that I created for my In Color Club. I just announced it yesterday, and it's a club that I've been doing for several years now. I've kind of lost count of how many times I've done this, but it's just an annual tradition for Too Cool Stamping. And what it is it's a 5-month club. We gather up groups of 5 people, and for each month you'll be able to get all of the different supplies that you need for one color of In Color. So I'll show you that when we flip the camera around. I'll give you a little bit more information about that. So we're going to talk about the cards that are going to come along with that, and we'll also have a free class kit with today's cards as well. So you can kind of choose whether you just want the 5-card kit or whether you want to actually join the club, and you'll actually get multiples of each card as you work on those each month. So we'll talk about that in a minute when we flip the camera around. And we're going to be featuring the Flowers of Friendship bundle, which is one of my favorites so far, and it's perfect for the In Colors. So that will be our featured set today. Before we get started though, just a couple of announcements. I've already put all this information on my toocoolstamping.com blog, so you can go to that to get all of the details. But there are a couple of really awesome promotions happening in conjunction with the release of the new catalog that you really need to know about, because you can really save money. The first one is the our Stampin Rewards, our extra Stampin Rewards promotion. It's really going to save you money if you have a big wish list. So if you have an individual order of $250 or more, or if you have a workshop or party and you gather up orders from friends and that totals $250 or more, you're going to earn $25 extra in Stampin' Rewards. Now remember, Stampin' Rewards, you can find those at the back of your book. Let me tell you what page it's on. Whoops, I missed it. Here we go. It's on page 170, and there's a little box. Whoops, there we go. There's a little box here that's going to tell you what you normally would get with Stampin' Rewards. At a $150 order, you get 10% back in Stampin' Rewards dollars to spend on anything that you want on that order. At the $300 level, you'll get 12% back. At $450, you'll get 14% back. And at a $600 order, you'll get 16% back. And those reward dollars can be spent on anything that you want, even a starter kit. Did you know that? You can actually use those dollars toward the purchase of a starter kit and join the Stampin' Up! Team. And we'll talk to you about that in a minute. But right now, with that special promotion, whatever we normally would get with Stampin' Rewards, you add $25 to that if your order is above $250. So at the $250 level, you're going to be at 10% Stampin' Rewards. So you'd already get $25. Normally, you're going to get an additional $25 on top of that. So that, and I forgot to tell you about the 50% off item for orders of $450 or more. You'll get a 50% off item as well. So lots of ways that you can save, and I know if you're like me, you have a great big wish list from that new catalog. It doesn't take very long to add up when you are putting in a bunch of bundles and the In Colors that you want to collect, and you know, there's just lots of things that you want to get. Paper. So definitely think about that. It's a great way to save. Now, I mentioned starter kit. That's another way that you can save right now, especially during the month of May. During the month of May, there's a special Join Plus promotion going on. Normally, a $99 starter kit, you just pay that $99 and be able to select $125 worth of product. Now in May, with their special Join Plus promotion, it will be $155 in product that you can select. That is a phenomenal value. So if you have a lot of things on your wish list, this is a great way to jump in and get a really extra savings on that starter kit. Plus, you're going to get 20% off on all your future orders because you're going to be a part of the Stampin' Up! Family. There's a lot of perks involved with being a part of the Stampin' Up! Family and the part of my Too Cool team. And if you want to know more about it, you can just go to toocoolstamping.com and I have all the details there. So think about that. 2 great ways to save. Another thing that you might want to consider, I do have a paper share happening right now, and it's a really fabulous way that you can get a sampling of all of the different new papers in the catalog. And you know that that's one of the biggest attractions, at least for me. I love seeing all the new patterns, the new color combinations. It really helps create beautiful, beautiful projects all year long. You can get samples of those with my paper share. I'm gathering up groups of 8 people, and each participant will receive 6x6 samples of all of the new papers, so you can see what they look like up close and personal, see which ones you love, which ones you might not like so much, which ones you want to definitely order full packages of. So it's a great way to make purchasing decisions and a great way to get a lot of different papers that you can play with right off the bat. So again, you can go to toocoolstamping.com for all the information, and you can just reserve your spot. As soon as your group fills up, I'll let you know and send an invoice out then, and then we'll get the papers on order right away. So those are some of the things happening. Now I'm going to flip the camera around. We'll talk a little bit more about the In Color Club because that's our featured offer today, and then we'll start working on our awesome In Color Club cards. All right, hold on. Okay, so let's talk about that In Color Club. Again, this is something I do every year, and it's a fantastic way, kind of a budget-friendly way to get all of the new In Color supplies. If you want to purchase it all at once, it's kind of a big order, but if you split it up and just get one color each month, then you'll have lots of different colors to play with by the end of the 5-month period. So let's talk about what you get with the In Color Club. So again, I'm gathering up, not collecting, but gathering groups of 5 people to participate in each club. And then the participants each month will get all of the items for one color. So you get 6 different things. You'll get the cardstock, you'll get the ink pad, you'll get a refill, which I don't know what, oh, here it is. You get a refill. You get the open weave ribbon, which is gorgeous. You get the marker to go with it, and also the Designer Series paper. You'll get 8 sheets of the Designer Series paper in the 2 different patterns. So that all comes in your kit. And then the other part of your kit is you'll get supplies to make 4 cards, and there'll be one style of card for each color. So you'll get 4 each of one card, and those are the cards we're going to put together today. Now, as an add-on, if you want to add on the Stampin' Blends markers to go along with it, then you can add that on as well. The price of the kit is just $42 for the kit each month. Now I'm doubting myself. I'm thinking $43. I think it's $43. And I forgot to write it down. I think 42 might have been last year. I think it's $43. Sorry about that. But you'll get all of these supplies. You'll get all the supplies for the 4 cards. And then if you also want the Stampin' Blends, it's just $10.50 on top of that. And then if you need it shipped to you, which I'm assuming the majority of you would, that is a priority shipping fee of $8.50. Now, the other thing that's kind of fun is one of the 5 months, you will be able to get either your choice of the In Color jewels, which these are absolutely gorgeous, and they're so popular, they're already sold out. They're already on back order. So we're waiting until June 7th to get those in, but these are absolutely beautiful. So you can either select this or any of the other new embellishments that are in the catalog that are for $8 or less. So that's another little bonus that comes with the In Color Club. So if you want to sign up, if you want to get more information, I have all the details. You can look at that at toocoolstamping.com. Okay. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about those In Color Club cards. We're going to be featuring them with the Flowers of Friendship bundle, which I absolutely love. It's so simple. I love these simple images, beautiful fonts, and then it also comes with a punch that punches out the coordinating flowers and leaves. So there's lots of fun ways to use this, and I'll be showing you those on our cards today. Plus, we'll be featuring, of course, all of the beautiful new In Colors. So let's go ahead and get started. The first card is going to be pretty simple, actually. I'm going to go ahead and put my mat down, my piercing mat. I love to have that down when I'm using photopolymer stamps. Actually, these are cling stamps, so I don't even know if I need those. Let's not even use those. I was thinking they were photopolymer. They're not. All right, so I just have an extra scrap piece here just in case, and we'll start out with Polished Pink. I love this new In Color. It's kind of more of a warmer tone than the Magenta Madness and a little bit lighter than the Melon Mambo. But we're going to start out with that. And it's just a traditional 5.5 by 8.5 inch cardstock, scored at the 4 1/4 inch mark. Next, I have a piece of the Designer Series paper that will come along with your In Color Club. And we can choose either side. I'm going to choose this side, and we're going to put that on the background. I already, for some reason, have some adhesive on there, so it keeps sticking already. So we'll add this to the bottom of our card. Next, we have, excuse me, I apologize. I have something in my throat and it's causing me to have to cough for some reason. Anyway, so we have a piece here of the basic white, and I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful large flower from the Flowers of Friendship. We're going to ink that up with Memento black ink. And oops, before we do that, let's put I like to put my sentiment on for positioning. So I'm going to start out with the Flowers of Friendship sentiment. Little card, big thanks. Put that right up there in the corner. And then we're going to add, I just love those flowers, so pretty. We're going to add a few all the way across the border, the bottom border here. So lovely. Next, we're going to color that in, and we're going to do it with sponge dauber. So I have one for Polished Pink, and then one for another one of our new In Colors, Soft Succulent. And we're just going to do kind of a spotlighting technique. I'm like, where's my Polished Pink? Oh, I had that with my group of things that I showed you at the beginning. Here we go. So I'm just going to take a little bit on the corner, and I just want to spotlight this particular bunch of flowers, the very first one, and I'm going to kind of start from the middle. And I actually had quite a bit of ink there, so you might want to like tap off a little bit just to make sure you don't have a big glob like that. Then you can add that, and it's a little bit lighter. All right, so there's the Polished Pink. So this is the card that's going to come in the Polished Pink kit. Now, you'll have the polished pink. You might not necessarily, when you are in the club, you might not have your soft succulent month happen yet, but you can use any green. So you can use pear pizzazz, you can use some mint macaron, whatever color you have on hand. Garden green, mossy meadow. So we're just adding a little smudge there just to highlight that one particular flower. Next, we're going to adhere that to a black mat. I love how simple and easy this card is, and I love that highlight. We're going to add some of this beautiful polished pink ribbon. This is an open weave ribbon, and you can find it in all of the different in colors. Just tie that in a double knot. Trim it up a little bit. And I'm going to move that right over there next to that spotlighted flower and pull it down just a bit. All right, now we're going to add this to our card front, and I'm just going to use a ton of dimensionals just to pop that up to give it a little bit of pizzazz, a little extra dimension. Lots of dimensionals. All right. And there you have it. That is our first card. So simple and pretty. So when you get your polished pink month in your in color club, you're going to get all the supplies to make 4 of these. So it'll be all the same. You can actually change it up. If you don't necessarily have the flowers of friendship, you can use any flowers. I give you lots of room there. Just pick any sentiment, pick any flowers. You could change it up and do it vertical. Lots of different ways that you can change it and make it your own. So that is our very first polished pink card. And let me show you. I've been trying to decorate the insides a little bit more, so here's a little example of what you can do for the inside. So pretty. Oh, and I forgot to add just a couple of rhinestones as well. Just a little bit of sparkle. All right, I'm loving this next card, and it's also one of my favorites as far as colors from the In Color collection. We're starting out with a vertical card this time, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and also at 2 3/4. So we're gonna fold that and then fold again. And this is gonna be a little easel card. So we'll start by adding some designer series paper. This is a 4 by 2 1/2. We'll put that on the top, and then another pattern of the same soft succulent designer series paper on the bottom. All right. So that is how we're going to start this card. Next, let's work on the focal point. We're going to use that same flower that we used for the first card. This time, we'll stamp it on our basic white, right in the middle. And then we're also going to stamp it on the top part of it on this polished pink scrap paper. And then we're just going to use our paper snips and quickly cut out these flower shapes. They're not really hard. I wish we had a little framelit or something, but this is kind of a paper piecing type of technique. So I'm showing you different ways that you can color in these flowers and make them so pretty. And this is a fun way to give them a layer as well. So here's another, and then the final one. And I'm using my paper snips. These are excellent for doing this kind of fussy cutting. They're super sharp right to the tip, and you can have a lot of control over these scissors. Okay, so those are going to be for those flowers, and then we're going to, like I said, this is going to be for the soft succulent month. So in that month, you're going to get the soft succulent marker, Stampin' Write marker. So you can use that to color in your leaves. Or if you opted in for the Stampin' Blends, it'd be a fun way to do the light color of soft succulent and have some pretty shading to go along with that. Okay, so now we're going to layer that on a piece of soft succulent. Love how that turned out. So, so pretty. And then I'm going to also layer it on a piece of the Evening Evergreen, another one of the brand new in colors. This one has been die cut with, this is called the Scalloped Contours dies, and this is a must-have for sure. So many really pretty rectangles with beautiful scallops, a nice pretty scallop border as well, and I've been using these a lot, and we have them on several of the cards here. So I'm going to add this background to that Scalloped Contour die cut. That Evening Evergreen, it's such a beautiful dark color, it really makes it pop. All right, and then we'll pop those flowers up with some dimensionals. And we'll put them right over the original flowers. For a fun paper pieced look. So pretty. Okay, we're going to add this to our card front. Now we want this to be an easel. It's going to pop up like this. So you only want to add the adhesive onto the bottom half. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that over 180 degrees, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus just to make sure it has a nice, strong, secure bond. And I just put that over the bottom, and then I will add that to that card front. Now that will be able to pop up. Now let's finish the inside of the card. The inside, we're going to stamp this pretty floral border with our soft succulent ink. And we're going to do that right along the bottom of our 5 1/4 by 4-inch piece. If you want to, you could use that marker and fill in those little flowers to make it a little more detailed. I'm just going to add it as is. Add this to the middle. I have just a little piece here of the polished pink. This is about a 3/8 inch wide by 4-inch strip. And we'll add that. My adhesive keeps snapping, so let's add that right here. And I just realized that I had meant to, I think I can still put it in there. I have one little polished pink piece here that is a 3/4 inch strip by 4. I'm gonna see if I can sneak that under here because I had meant to put it right under here. We're gonna just sneak it. Don't tell. When we mess up, we can always fix it somehow. There we go. That gives it a little pop of color there and a pop of color on the inside. Now let's put a little sentiment. This time we're going to use many thanks from all of us. Again, you can stamp that in soft succulent if you want to, evening evergreen. I'm going to use the Memento Black. And then I'm just going to fishtail cut the edges here. So I go up the center and then corner to center. And then same on the other side. And this is going to be what I like to call the little kickstand. It's what's going to hold that easel in place. So we want to have some dimensionals on that. And we'll just add that right over this pink border. And now we have a little kickstand. Isn't that cool? I love that. Too cool, right? So you can mail it flat and then also have the kickstand. Now, of course, we want to add some bling. So let's add some rhinestones. All of the cards from my in color kit, I just am doing regular rhinestones. If you have the Stampin' Blends markers, you can always color in and have them match. You could make those a polished pink. You could make those a soft succulent. I kind of like it just with the clear. I think that looks really pretty. So there you go, a little easel card. So, so cute. So for your soft succulent month, you would get all the supplies to create 4 of those. Okay, next up, let's go with our next color. We're going to go with the pale papaya. Oh, I forgot one thing. Sorry. I keep forgetting the bling. I have a little bow here that I made with the soft succulent. The open weave ribbon. That will come in your kit as well. Can't forget the bow. It's going to go right in the center here. There we go. That softens it up a little bit too. So pretty. Okay, now we're going to get on with the pale papaya. This one we're going to do another little technique. We're going to start with that traditional 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. It's going to be a vertical card. We need to clean up a couple of our stamps here. So we're going to use this cute border. And we're also going to use that original flower from the first 2 cards. And I want to make sure I get all the ink off because we're going to do a special technique with that. All right, let's start with our pale papaya. I'm going to use this border and I'm going to create a really, really pretty background. And I'm just going to put one on there and then I'm going to offset it just a bit. Whoops, I didn't offset it at all, did I? And just work my way up the card. It creates such a pretty background. It can make just a regular single border, but when you add it all together like this, it's just really pretty and soft. And I love this color too. All right, one more at the bottom. So that fills in that whole entire side. Then we're going to have our stamping on a piece here. This is 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. And before we stamp it, we're going to ink it, but we're going to do it in a special way. All right, let me find my, sorry for my reach here. Here we go. I have little Post-its here, and I want to mask off my large flowers at the top. So I want to keep the stems, but I want to use those other 4-petal flowers on top of this. So I just want to mask that off. That way I can ink up the rest with my mint, or with my Memento black ink. I'll take that off, and now just the stems and the leaves are inked up. Then I'm going to stamp that onto the white, and then we only have those stems. I love that. Just a really quick little technique. Next, we're going to have those 4-petal flowers, and we're going to stamp those along with the leaves onto some scrap paper. So when we do this, we're going to punch them out with the punch. You want to look at the punch and see how they're oriented in your punch. So for the smaller 4-petal flower, you can see that it's more like an X. So you'll want to punch it like an X. And I suggest having strips that are smaller so you don't waste a lot of paper. If you have a wider strip here, you're going to waste a lot of paper that'll be punched out but not used. So let's start out. We only need 1, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like with 2 to punch out 2. You want to have just a little bit of space in between because you have those 2 different leaves there that are going to punch a little bit. But you can just line that up. And with that little extra space, you have just enough room for another flower on there as well. So that's how you punch the flowers. We're only going to need 1, but there's one in the Fresh Freesia, another new in color. We also want a small flower in Polished Pink. So let's put one of those on there. And the other thing to note about these flowers, they're not perfectly symmetrical as you look at the image, but it doesn't matter which way you put your flower in the punch. It all fits correctly. I don't know how that works exactly, but it all fits. So there's another flower. And then the last one is going to be, that was Polished Pink, and the last one's going to be this larger flower. And this time, the larger flower we notice is more like a plus sign, so we want to stamp it in a plus orientation. So we can just do that. Easy peasy. All right, so there are our 3 flowers. So before we put those on there, let's add that to a layer here. This is Polished Pink, and this is going to be 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. We'll add that right on here. Actually, it's 2, I think it's 2 1/2 by 5 1/2. And then we can add that to our card front. I'm going to leave just a little bit on the side. There we go. So pretty. Okay, let's put those flowers on there. You could pop those up if you wanted to. I'm going to just add the first one with some seal. This one I'm going to pop up with a dimensional and kind of break that out of the box a little bit. And the second one I'm going to pop up with another dimensional. Really, really cute. Now we're going to add the leaves as well. We're going to do the same thing. Again, this is kind of like paper piecing. And I have 2 strips of some scrap of the soft succulent. Again, when we look at our punch, we want to look at the orientation. So the orientation for this larger leaf is like this. So we want this to kind of go down. And you could just stamp it several times across. And then the smaller leaf kind of points up in this direction. So we want to make it go in this direction. And then when we're not going to use all these leaves, but you can, just wanted to show you how you could do multiples of them. You could actually get them a little bit closer together as well. So because this one is on this side, you want to start in this direction. So that's the first one. You don't have any extra over here that you're punching. And then as you go across, it doesn't matter that you're over punching some of the other places where you've already punched. Hopefully that makes sense. So now you have 3 little leaves here. And then for the other one, you're going to start from the other direction. Line that up. And then you can just move it across really easily. So I like to use these strips. They work really well. You don't waste a lot. And you can get a lot off of one sheet. All right, let's get these extra ones out of the way here. And we have these to work with. So I'm just going to add a little bit, some of these leaves right over the top here. It looks like there's 1 large and 3 small. I'm going to make the bottom 2 larger. And these are so small you might want to use liquid adhesive. You could also use glue dots. It's kind of hard to get that seal. On that little piece of paper. So little glue dot is going to work just fine. And this one we're just going to tuck it right under there. There we go. So that is for our flowers. Let's finish up with a sentiment. I have a little piece here of the fresh Freesia. This is 3 1/4 by 3/4. And this time we're using Thank You for Everything. Again, in Memento Black, just to make it easy. We're going to add that right to the center. And then we're going to pop that up. I think I have that a little bit off center, so I'm going to clean it up a little bit. Make it a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to add that to the bottom with a few more dimensionals. There we go. I love that. We're going to finish up with some of the Pale Papaya open weave ribbon. We'll wrap that all around the card front. Tie it in a double knot. And trim it up. And then, of course, whoops, we need to add a few rhinestones. Now I love that the centers of these are the perfect size for these rhinestones. So you can use the large ones and the medium ones. Even the small ones are almost the perfect size. Fits right in there. Just adds a little bit of sparkle. So that is the Pale Papaya card that will come in the Pale Papaya month. You'll get all the supplies to make 4 of these. Again, if you wanted to switch it up, you could make it a horizontal card. You could move the sentiment in a different way. You could have the flowers going up. You know, feel free to do it in a lot of different ways. Okay, next. Fresh Freesia is our next card. We're going to start with a Whisper or basic white, thick cardstock. We started with a traditional, but I already have die cut the border here. And this is a new die that is from the Penned Flowers die. It's from the Hand Penned Flowers Suite, and I love this die. I'm liking the scallops. Lots of scallops this year. So I'll have that all pre-die cut for you. We're going to add a little bit of the fresh Freesia Designer Series paper right along the side. I'm so happy that they have a light purple again. We had the purple posy and now that's retired, but we didn't even really get to use it like we wanted to because of the ink quality issue that happened. So now we have another chance to have a different beautiful purple color. And it's another favorite of mine from the In Colors. So that is our little border. I have another piece here of the Whisper White. This one has been embossed with the Ornate Garden embossing folder. And because of the texture, I'm going to add that with some Seal Plus for some extra dimension. Now see what just happened here? Because of the texture, sometimes it rips the paper up a little bit. So you just need to use a really light hand. And sometimes it's all in the direction that you're going because of the way the fibers are in the paper. So just take it slow, super light hand, and you won't have that happen. All right, we'll add that to the front. Again, I have a die cut here of basic white, and this is again from the Scalloped Contours dies. A must have for sure. And we're going to use another sentiment. Life is better with friends like you. We'll stamp that in Memento Black. And that's going to go on the front. We're going to layer that on some gorgeous grape. So pretty. And then you can either pop that up or I'm going to stick it on with some more Seal Plus because again, it always is going to work a little bit better on that texture. It's going to hold a little bit better. So we'll add this to the card front. Now we're going to decorate with some more of those 4-petal flowers. We're going to do the large flowers. Remember, they're in the plus orientation, so we're going to do 3 pluses like so. And this time I'm going to color them in with Stampin' Blends. Again, if you're doing the In Color Club, the Stampin' Blends are an add-on for $10.50. So I love them for these flowers because you can do some shading. So I'm starting with the brush tip of the light fresh Freesia. So you can color all of those and then add those, or then punch those out with your, oh, let me show you this. You also would want to add in some of your dark. Just a couple of lines there. There we go. So you're going to color all 3 of those in. You punch those out really easily. You can see you have plenty of room there in between, as long as you have it going in that plus direction. So you punch all 3 of those out once you have them colored, and then you can add them with glue dots to the front of your card. And again, I added some large rhinestones. They fit perfectly in those flowers. And then let me tell you a little tip that I learned, and I knew better, but I did it anyway. I've been trying to decorate a lot of the inside of the cards. And so I stamped a little 4-petal flower on there and I colored that in with Stampin' Blends. But here's the problem. Don't forget that it bleeds onto the background. So if you do that, you're going to want to put an extra layer of white in there. You can still do that, but make sure that you're coloring on an extra layer. That way you're not going to have bleed through to the back. I totally forgot. And so I hate that. I'm going to have to do that over because I can't send a card like that. That's not going to work for me. But now you know not to do that. All right, so for the Fresh Freesia month, you're going to get supplies to make 4 of these cards. All right, one final card. This one is with the Evening Evergreen. And this one starts out with a 1/4 sheet card base. Let's get some of these little pieces out of the way. So we have a 1/4 sheet of the Evening Evergreen. That is a 5.5 by 4 1/4. And we're going to decorate that with a little 2 by 4 piece of Designer Series paper. Now I keep talking about the In Color Club and how you're going to get 4 supplies for 4 each of these cards for each of the months. But we also have that 5-card kit. So if you place an order for $35 or more between now and May 12th, you're going to get supplies to make 1 each of all of these cards, like we usually do every week. All right, next we're going to have another little die cut here of the basic white, again with the scalloped contours dies. So we'll add that to our card front, right in the center. And then I have a piece here of the soft succulent. It's 5 3/4 by, I believe it's 3 3/4. I didn't bring my ruler over here, so I'm having trouble with that today. But you're just going to fold that in half. This is going to be our card opening. Kind of a fun fold. And we're going to put that on here. Again, I think I'm going to use the seal. Since this will be opening, we don't want it to pull away from the card base. The Seal Plus. We'll add that. So just a little bit of those scallops are peeking out. Next, I have a piece of the Open Weave Evening Evergreen ribbon, and I'm going to adhere that around this card front and add just a little bit of adhesive right in the center here to tack that down. All right, so that'll decorate that just a little bit. Now I have another die cut here. This is from the Tasteful Labels dies and basic white. And then I'm going to use my Thank You for Everything sentiment right here on the edge. And we'll pop that up with some dimensionals. And put that right in the center. Now we're going to decorate with a few more flowers. One more little flower technique we're going to show today. And we're going to have some scraps like we have been doing. We're going to start off with our large 4-petal flower, 2 of those. And then also on the polished pink, we're going to do the small petal. Remember to do it like an X. We'll punch those out. So quick and easy. And then punch these out. Remember, for the smaller ones, you want to have them a little further away because you do have those leaves that kind of get in the way. So here are those. And we need some leaves as well. So here's a couple more strips. Here's our little leaves, and we're going to use the Evergreen ink for a little tone on tone. Remember, the one leaves go this way, and the other leaves go this way. So this one, punch that little one out, another little one out. We really only need one of those, I think. Let's see. Yeah, let's just use one. And then the larger ones, I just get so excited. Whoops, I did these upside down. I get so excited that I just want to stamp a whole strip, which you could do, and then you wouldn't have to keep going back to it. You'd have a whole bunch to work with. All right, now let's assemble. So I'm going to layer these together, and I'm just going to use glue dots again. So a little glue dot here, and I'm going to cross these to make a fuller flower. And the same with the smaller 4-petal. Just make a little full flower. And I'll add that with, I think I'm going to use some Seal Plus again. You could use some liquid glue if you wanted to. Several glue dots. There we go. And then we'll just tuck a little bit of leaves with some glue dots. Let's do one here. Let's do a small one right here. And another one on the other side. Just tuck it right under there. Finish it up again with a few rhinestones. And you're good to go. So that is the last card. I'll show you the inside of this one. I just did a little stamping there and some coloring with the Stampin' Blends. So that is the final card. So let's bring back all of the cards. You can see if you're getting the 5-card kit, what you're going to be getting. And then also remember, for the In Color Club, you'll get 4 each of the cards. That's how I clean my desk all the time. Just go shoo. All right, put our little easel here. All right, there are all of our cards. Remember, if you want to earn the whole 5-card class kit, all the parts and pieces will be here. You just need to add the Flowers of Friendship bundle and also the inks and adhesive on your own. But you can get all the pre-cut card supplies with your $35 order or more. Make sure you use that host code KRZCCGVJ, and I'll have that on my Too Cool Stamping blog so that you'll have that information available. But that will be good through next Wednesday, May 12th. You'll be able to earn this 5-card class kit. Or remember, if you would like to do multiples of these cards and also get all of the In Color collection, all the cardstock, the ink, the refills, markers, designer series paper, and ribbon with a Stampin' Blends add-on if you choose, you can sign up for the 5-month In Color Club. And that's just a really fun, budget-friendly way to get the entire In Color collection. All right, everybody, I hope you've had fun today with our brand new In Colors. I hope you love them as much as I do. I can't wait to really combine them with other colors and play with those. And I know we're going to have a lot of fun these next 2 years with this collection. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always go to toocoolstamping.com and find me there. And until then, we'll have another class next week on, what is it, the 13th, May 13th, and it'll be at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you then with a whole new batch of new products from the brand new catalog. I'll see you then. Until then, this is Angie with toocoolstamping.com. Bye-bye.